Maven, we work with organisations who are going through substantial transformational change. In some cases, organisations come to us because what they're looking to achieve is a structure, a process, some governance over that large-scale change itself. So they're looking for ideas about how they can actually break down the whole change into key pieces of work. What should they do first? What should they do next? So they're looking for that overall structure. And we tend to use a model of 4 steps, very simple, for the entire change, which we know might take 2 or 3 years. But we know there's going to be a phase for understanding it, sorting out the vision, sorting out the business case, understanding who's impacted. We know that there's work to be done on planning that transformational change and actually starting to identify what are all the individual initiatives, all the projects and minor changes that will have to be made if it becomes a reality. We understand that the change needs to be implemented and adopted by those impacted. And finally, we know that it has to be embedded. We need to plan to take away the old infrastructure, the old ways of working, and we need to be able to prove that the transformation has had the benefits and the positive impact expected of it by doing all of the measurements around benefits. So that's the higher level, if you like, and sometimes we know organisations are looking to achieve that. In other cases, organisations come to us because what they're looking to achieve is an approach and a way of working through all of the individual changes that are coming out of the transformational change programme. We often find that our clients already have a very well worked out approach for their project management. What they're looking for from us is to help them develop that or enhance it so that we come up with a lot of activities for how those within the business who already have day jobs but who we've nominated as change agents and change managers actually do that role. The key thing that we start with at Maven is that we don't reinvent the wheel. It's really important for us to not be the kind of organisation that comes in and says, oh, everything you're doing is not quite right, you should do it this way, and everything's got to be our way of doing things. We really don't think like that. The most important thing that we look for is, what do you have already in terms of structure? Let's take a pragmatic approach to this and actually build on what you've got already and what works well already. We've already got enough change going on in organisations. We don't need to add any more change just for the fun of it. That really plays back to what we find with our clients, which is they have a very well worked out way of doing project management. So for the individual initiatives from their transformational change, they already have a method or an approach or a framework for creating those deliverables and getting them delivered on time and on budget and to the right level of quality. What they are looking for, however, is business participation or change management activities, communication, engagement activities. What activities can they do to inspire and motivate and get that participation from everyone who is impacted? And what we find is that we take what you already have in terms of your project management method. Here I've just laid it out as a very simple 4 steps of assess and plan and develop and deliver. And we try to work out what's going on at the project level, and we build an equivalent approach for those who are not directly in the project teams, but who have to work closely with them. The users, if you like, the people who are going to be impacted by the change. And we identify what's involved for them, how they might plan their activities, and then we look at the huge range of activities that we help you to discover and identify and then start to do. Because it's all about your culture, it's all about your own context, but we have so much experience in this that we've got almost a giant menu option of all the different things that have worked in different organisations, and we try to bring that to the table and help you identify what's going to work for you. For example, we know that from some projects we might have reworked business processes, or we might have a new system, and we then have to identify, well, what's the new business model then, or what's the customer journey now that we've put in place this new project deliverable? How does your world change? We help you identify all of those changes and then actually start to test them out, walk them through, and to train others in those new working practices. And that's a part of the entire life cycle. And that might be for an individual project, but that's multiplied many times throughout a transformational change programme. And it's all of those projects and change initiatives taken together that eventually summarise you back here to the end of your 2 or 3 years of transformational change, and you finally embedded that change. And that's really what we do at Maven.